group.
Okay.
Okay, I'll continue. Characteristics of research. A summary of these characteristics was identified and presented as follows. Number one, research gathers new data or knowledge from primary or first-hand sources. This is what Dr. Soriano mentioned earlier. Do not merely restate or reorganize what is already known or what has already been written. So let's not be copycats. Let's make sure that our research would be original. We just don't reorganize what's already was researched by other other researcher. Number two, research is expert, systematic, and accurate investigation. As a researcher, you should know what is already known about your problem. Have an adequate literature review to be able to thoroughly conceptualize the problem. Proceed from this point carefully, planning the procedure. Data are gathered, recorded, and analyzed with as much accuracy as possible.
Okay, may I emphasize on that? Go back to the previous slide.
Other
Okay.
one.
So research is expert. Yung next slide.
Sorry, this one.
Okay, so research is expert, systematic, accurate in investigation. Now, why it is called research is expert? Because the topic that you will be undertaking should be aligned with your specialization. You cannot conduct a study that is not within your expertise. So tulad nyo dito no mga MBA, so you will be conducting your research within your organization at saka align sa inyong program. Ngayon, may mga MBA dito na nagtuturo, di ba? So i-align din yung yung inyong study with your current work. So there are two ways to approach para matawag natin siyang it should be a research is expert. So the first consideration, remember this because you will be when you start working on your topic, there are two considerations. No? Number one is your major. So ano ba yung major nyo, program ninyo? MAED, SPED, MPA, business. So kailangan align siya sa program. Number two consideration is the nature of your work. The nature of your work. So for example, just like those who are in MBA and some are teaching, some are working in an academic institution, i-align yung inyong study with your current work. Bakit? Because the output that you will be proposing should be not put into or should I say will be a nil. So it should be usable, implementable. Kailangan talagang, kaya nga sabi doon, research is will make a quality of life. So those who will be affected nung proposed output ninyo, no, kailangan it has to be implemented in your respective offices. Magagamit nyo siya in other words. Kaya when you will start working on that part, no, i-scrutinize talaga natin kung ano yung ipopropose ninyong research problem. Okay, so continue.
Okay. Number three, research is logical and objective, applying every possible test to verify the data collected and the procedures employed. Research endeavors to organize data in quantitative terms if possible. Research is patient and unhurried. You should be willing to exert painstaking effort, suspending judgment to permit the data, and logic lead to a sound conclusion. Number four, research is carefully recorded and reported. So it means that every term is carefully defined, all procedures are described in detail, all limiting factors are recognized, all references are carefully documented, all conclusions and generalizations are carefully arrived at, and that Thesis is a substantial research project which is scholarly and original. Thesis is a writing thesis writing is the end product of research among college and like us masteral students. So those are the characteristics of research, those four. So I'll move forward with the objectives of research. So the purpose of research is to discover answers to the questions through the application of scientific procedures. The main aim of research is to find out the truth which is hidden and which has not been discovered yet. Though each research studies has its own specific purpose, we may think of research objective falling into the number of following groupings. So I bet there are a couple, but I was able to identify five. We have exploration, explanation, description, diagnostics, and hypothesis. So for exploration, so exploratory objective or formulative research studies aims to gain familiarity with a phenomenon, achieve new insights, and it is when a research is conducted to explore, investigate on a subject or a concept. I guess one example of this is the research or the exploration of like the planet Mars. When the scientists are asked to do an exploration study or to that specific planet, it might be conceptualized as exploratory research studies. I'm not just sure. I just feel that that's actually one example of that. Next, explanation. Explanation is the use of research to give a new perspective to existing knowledge. So it aims to explain so, explain a new perspective on, like, let's say there's already a definition or an explanation to a certain subject matter. Explanatory research aims to give further information, new perspective, new look on that particular subject matter. Description. Description or descriptive research studies aims to portray accurately the characteristic of a particular individual, situation, or a group. It fulfills the need to provide more insight to a problem by providing more data and analyzing them according to the specific needs. So it focuses on the specifics of a certain individual or a certain subject matter that you would like to research on, more on its characteristics. So diagnostic, to determine the frequency with which something occurs or with which is associated with something else. Studies with objects in view are known as diagnostic research studies. And last but not the least, hypothesis. The test hypothesis is of a causal relationship between variables such as study. Such studies are known as hypothesis testing research studies. Can I continue? Okay.
Sandali. Okay, go back to the previous slides. Okay. So, looking at the objectives of research, actually, there are four, no? To explore, to explain, to describe, or to diagnose on something.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
in the exploration, for example, what's happening with the online setting, using the online setting or the online platform for our education. So if you would like to explore on that particular study, then you can do it. And if you would like to explain on something, you would like to conduct a research that you would like to give a new insights or a new perspective, or you would like to come up with a new model or a new theory in doing something or a new system, then you are using a research that would explain why. Okay, and of course, in research is to describe.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say you would like to in using a research that would describe, you could
Mhm.
pwede mong gamitin yung historical, a case study, or so yung case study, you are dealing with a particular person or an organization. Okay, so yun yung you would like to describe. And of course, if you would like to diagnose, you would like to come up with a new ideas, then you must determine what cause or causes on something that you could make an improvement in that particular area. So research is to explore, to explain, and to describe.
Yes. Okay. Continue na po, ma'am. Okay, thank you. Types of research overview. This would be discussed by one of my colleagues. I just wanted to give you like a framework of the types of research. I won't be digging into details as one of my colleague would be discussing this. So we have the types of research. It's subdivided into three. We have based on inquiry, based on purpose, and based on method. So based on inquiry, it is subdivided into two groups, which is rationalistic inquiries and naturalistic inquiries. For rationalistic inquiries, we have begin with an existing theory. It's formal instruments